We're back. Welcome to the Rookie Lap. We're back to talk about all season events and upcoming events and just whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, just something to get out there, spend a minute, and talk about all the stuff that's been going on, which unfortunately has not been a lot of good stuff.
No, heck no.
But a lot of these people have done a lot for the sport and were around for a few years at least. So I guess the first bad news that we got for the year was Michael Annett passed away, 36 years old, I believe.
Yeah, he didn't have what I would call a stellar career, but he was always a consistent driver and just I guess what I thought from watching all the races he was in, he was pretty much a very nice and friendly and got along with all the other drivers well.
Yeah, from what I read on the thing after he passed away, it was driver after team owner after media person all saying how nice he'd always been to them and helped out mentoring people and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, regardless,
Yeah, the one's
he's gone
36.
at 36 years
That's
old. And
just horrible.
yeah,
I can't imagine.
so thoughts to his family. And then next, we had the whole Biffle family get killed in a plane crash, which everybody's heard about, even if you don't watch racing at this point, I think.
Yeah, that was national news, probably world news.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal.
And I've seen people debating on whether it was the pilot or whether they had the right to do that or do this or the right to do that and whatever. But I mean, if they were doing something they shouldn't have been and that could have helped not cause it, that's really unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it happened, and that's the worst part. I think you just respect them and the things that, especially the Biffles, have done, all the humanitarian stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say not just what he did while he was racing. That's just pure entertainment, and we all like it, and that's what we follow and watch. But man, he had done so much good for so many people in the last few years. You know, it really, between him and Cletus and all some of the stuff that they did, well, that made news probably as much or more than some of the racing that he did.
Yeah, I think he was definitely one of the guys that was big in racing, but unlike a lot of others that get done with racing, you never hear from them again and have no clue where they're at. Greg went out and made something even more of his life, I think, and did even bigger things.
Yeah, and I think the cool part was, and I'm sure a lot of you and a lot of other people followed Cletus, and when they got hooked up together, that was just, apparently they were really, really good buddies, but that was just a team. Some of the stuff, you never saw them, either of them, without a smile on their face.
Yeah.
You know, they were always happy and doing things that were fun and good and entertaining and exciting and humanitarian, uh, most importantly, I would say.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they only knew each other for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Just watching them, you'd think it would have been many, many more than that.
Right. Sometimes that's all it takes. You know, you just click with somebody and their interests were the same, I guess.
Yeah, I try to remember Cletus said he had never met anybody else that had a deep interest in, what was it, planes and cars or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but he said he'd never been able to find anybody else that shared those interests in him or with him.
But I mean, the ones that think that Biffle wasn't a driver, though, I think it was until last year. He held the record, didn't he, in the truck series?
Yeah, 9 wins in the season.
Most wins in the season. So yeah, he had as I recall, a truck series championship, and I guess then Bush, or maybe it was Xfinity then, whatever it was,
no,
nationwide.
I think it would have been Bush.
Yeah, Bush Series championship. All he had to do was one more to complete the trifecta.
Yeah, and besides losing a wheel at, I want to say it was Texas back in like 05, he had that cup championship wrapped up.
Yep.
So he almost won all 3. which
Yeah.
nobody has done.
And he probably did as well as just about anybody else at Rouse at the time he was there. You know, they had their issues there that which people have kind of learned now that they weren't as strong of a team as I think most people thought they were at the time. So
Yeah,
he was definitely, in my opinion, I know he was voted top 75
yeah,
of all NASCAR drivers, but I think he was maybe even better than that.
yeah, definitely. But I just, I mean, I wasn't around for most of his driving, or at least half of it. So I didn't even remember a whole lot about that stuff. So I just remember more of all the stories that I've been hearing over the last few years, like you said, with the hurricane stuff. And whether these things are true or not, I don't have a hard time believing them when I read them, which tells you what the kind of person he is. If people saying just a week before they saw him at a food bank, and another person saying that he had been scheduled to do some interview with Fox or something after a race, and they went ahead and did the show without him because he just never showed up, never called. Turns out, way later in the night, he called and said, "Sorry, guys, I was trying to get there, but I saw a random person, their boat had flipped over in the river. I was helping them out."
Yeah.
And so that's where he was. And people were saying that he sent water to their property, like uh, 18-wheeler trailer loads,
Yeah.
tractor trailer loads of water to help them out when their properties burned down. And
Yeah, he did. He did a whole lot of
whole,
humanity, and you know, he was fortunate, I guess, that financially he was able to. But he's one of the few that are that way. You know,
yeah,
with the money that you find out later, you don't really see it as it's happening because other than the big deal in North Carolina, everybody knew about that, but that was kind of in your face.
yeah,
But other than that, I think he did a whole lot. You know, he wasn't out there looking for accolades or people say, "Oh, look at him! Look at what he's doing." That was just where his head was at. He wanted to do the right thing.
yeah. And I'd say the majority of people with money don't do the same thing. So
And not that it's their responsibility.
no,
It's just nice to see.
yeah, yeah,
You know, a member of the community that we follow so closely able to do that. And when he was racing, like I said, you said you weren't around for most of it or any of it, I guess, but he wasn't one of those in-your-face drivers that was always getting TV time and all that. But he was just a good, consistent, not like in it, but he won races.
yeah,
He was always, you know, there in the fight. He got the most out of the car that it was going to give him. He was a good driver, really
yeah.
was.
Yeah, so thoughts to him, his wife, 2 kids. That's honestly probably the worst part. A 5-year-old and 14.
Yeah.
And also the pilot and his son and Craig Wadsworth, Kenny Wallace, old driver, bus driver.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something funny. I don't know if you saw Cletus talking, but he was talking about the kids. He said he never knew Greg's daughter, but he said the 5-year-old, I think he was 4 at the time, when they met each other. He said the first words that Ryder ever said to Cletus was, "Did you know my dad won a truck championship?" So
Yeah, well, he didn't know that. You know, he wasn't around for that either.
yeah,
So yeah, that's.
but I just thought that was funny. Cletus said that Ryder was a cool kid, and that was just a funny story that he told. But
And I know it's just pictures that we all see, but you've never seen any pictures of him or any of his family
yeah,
that they weren't smiling.
yeah. So thoughts to them, they will be remembered always, just like the Allisons and the Kowickis and the Hendricks. Too many NASCAR families have had this stuff happen for some reason.
Yeah.
And
I guess, you know, the reality there is somebody brought that up to me a little while back, and I got to thinking, why is that? And honestly, a lot of the NASCAR drivers and the community, they spend a lot of time in the air.
yeah,
I mean, fortunately, you don't have a lot of problems with plane crashes and things, but they do spend a lot of time. I'd be curious how much it is, but a lot of time in the air.
yeah,
And a lot of them are pilots.
yeah. And I think different from other sports are a way smaller team that all probably travel on one plane together everywhere they go.
Yeah.
And in NASCAR, I mean, I think a lot of the drivers have their own planes, the team owners have their own planes.
Yeah, well, the drivers don't just have to show up at the venue. They've got to go meet their obligations here, there, and all kind
so
of
they're
places
all
through
just
the week. Yeah, they're all over.
over the place doing their own thing instead of one plane taking everybody everywhere. So it's more chances of stuff to happen.
Yeah.
But that leads us into the next one of Denny Hamlin. Heartbreak, loses a championship that he had right there in front of him after a really good year. And he's been telling us that his dad ain't gonna make it much longer, but I don't think anybody knew that this was how it was gonna end. His parents have a really, really bad house fire and his dad passes away. And his mom's in the burn center, but I hear she's recovering at least, so that's good. But
that's a bad thing. I've been around after people were in house fires, and that's a bad thing. I mean, it's tragic what it does.
Yeah, so.
But we pray for her and pray for Denny to be able to come to, I don't know, some kind of peace with what's happened with his father. I mean, I know he knew he wasn't going to be around long, but still, you didn't want this.
Yeah. And I just hope that the NASCAR fans that want to get on the internet and talk trash about him all the time at least take a minute off and be a human for a minute. And remember that he's a person just like we are. But
yeah,
unfortunate for him, and I think the last one of this way too long of a list is Michael Printup, which most people probably don't know, but apparently he was the Watkins Glen track president for a long time and worked with NASCAR for about 30 years, and he passed away at 60 years old.
Yeah, which is young.
Yeah, like the day after New Year's or something like that. So.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about him, but
me neither.
That's still too young to be passing away, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he's another one that a lot of people said that was a really good guy, always out helping people. They said those little shows that like Bob Parkhurst and Jeff Gluck set up before a race to meet with the fans. Apparently there was an old picture when he was the president at Watkins Glen. He came out and he went and did the show with them, and he got up there and was just throwing money out in the crowd for fun. So
cool.
Prayers to his family too,
and let's get back to Denny for just a minute. I know I've seen some things, especially since then, about how much effort and how much time and resources that his father put into getting him into racing. You know, he's one of the stories that you don't really see anymore.
Yeah.
You know, where he was going broke trying to get Denny into racing. You used to see that a lot more often than you do now.
Yeah. Whether the story's grown over time or whatever, I don't know, but the version I heard was Denny and his dad were in line at some track. I don't remember the name of it, but they were in line to do their final race they were going to be able to do. They were out of money, couldn't afford it no more. And somebody in the line overheard them talking about it, and they said, well, I'm going to be racing next week, and when I win, I want to know that I beat the best that we got out here. So how much money does it take to get you back here next week? And that's how the story of Denny Hamlin got started, I guess, because it was about to end there. And that guy helped him get into a ride for the next week, and he went on to dominate the next season in that guy's car, I believe.
Yeah, that's the same thing I heard.
Met Joe Gibbs. I think they say, Denny said when he was about 12 years old, he met Joe Gibbs and he told him, I'm going to drive for you one day. And he meant it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so prayers to all of these people and their families, and hopefully that's the last one we have to hear of for a while. It's been too many and way too short of a time span, so. Just really do hope that's it for this for a little while. And some other news, not as terrible, but Brad Keselowski, another driver gets caught in the snow, breaks a leg. We just had Chase Elliott do it a few years ago.
Yeah, I guess he figured old Chase had done shown him up.
Yeah.
I'll show you. No, I'm sure that's not why he did it.
No.
That don't sound to me like the NASCAR drivers need to be playing in the snow.
Yeah, probably not. But at least he picked a better time than in the middle of the season to go do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Chase had to miss a whole bunch of races for it. But we hope you get better, Brad, and don't be reposting no pictures of you in your underwear made by AI anytime soon. But they're right there on his page for anybody that wants to go up.
I'll pass. I just saw the little blip you showed me earlier. Somebody did at dinner. So,
Yeah.
Well, no, that's okay. That
Yeah.
AI crap, it just got out of hand.
Yeah. But we're expecting he'll be back in Daytona, we hope. So we'll see him there. And I guess the other big news we got is the settlement, which we can finally say was a settlement. It's over. No more lawsuit talk. And I'd say you're probably happy about that. You've been wanting it to be over for a long time.
You know, I hope you are correct, though. I hope it is over. I hope in NASCAR's mind it's over, it's done. They won't say, well, we'll show those guys, in the 2311 team or Denny or whatever. I hope that they'll just let it pass, let racing go on like it was, clean up some of the rules that they had.
Yeah.
Make a few changes like it looked like they were in the direction of doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing is, don't take it out on Denny and his teams. They went to court, in front row. Yeah. Let's just move on from that, and hopefully have a good outcome. Which this is the chance for the best possible outcome, in my opinion, that there could have been.
Yeah, I think it played out a lot better than a lot of people were expecting. I think everybody just thought no matter what it was going to destroy the sport, but I feel like it really brought a lot of things to light and helped both sides see each other's sides better.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of he said, she said, and we know some of it's true, but you know what? People say things all the time. Just move on.
Yeah. And I guess if you're going to say it, I'm hoping they at least learn to not put it over a text message or an email.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it with your mouth, and that's it. Make sure there's no cameras around.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably learned a good lesson there about what not to put into a text.
Yeah. Both sides.
Yes, no doubt.
But I think I'm happy with what did result, and I'm going to hope that the story was genuine about, I don't know if you heard, but the reporters that were in the courtroom said that as soon as the settlement was agreed upon in the courtroom, it's like both sides dropped their shields and their armor and all, and Michael and Jim and just both sides came and met in the courtroom and started giving each other hugs and handshakes, and it seems like they really were letting it go, and I'm going to hope that carries over.
Yeah, I mean, it's a benefit to both of them if they're all still there and still doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
Be smart enough to realize that. NASCAR's always had this thing about telling drivers, we don't need you. Well, they do.
Yeah.
They need Denny and his team and Michael Jordan. How do I put this? Michael Jordan brings a certain something to the sport that not a lot of other people can.
Yeah.
He has such a huge following. He's such a popular person, and he's got money, which is always a big thing, honestly. I mean, that's a big part of it. But just the huge following he has, NASCAR's always saying, oh, we need these people, to start watching those. Well, I'm sure there's been a significant amount of people that watch NASCAR just to see what Michael Jordan's team does.
Yeah. I know you had plenty of fans waiting outside the courtroom for him every day.
Sure. And there's people that won't. It's just Michael Jordan. They were watching it because it was him. But there's new NASCAR fans because of Michael Jordan.
Yeah. So keep him around. I don't think it can do anything but help.
And it's not like he's a casual guy that's out there somewhere going, I think I'll just invest in this.
Yeah.
From what I understand with him, he has a legitimate interest in racing.
Yeah, that was something cool I heard from the lawsuit when he was up there talking. And he said he started off, his dad was a Petty fan, and then he went to be a Kel Yarbrough fan, and
Right.
he told Denny right there in the courtroom that Kel always been a real 11.
Yeah.
So that stuff's pretty cool to hear from people that think he's just a basketball guy or whatever. And so
let's move on.
yeah.
Be done with that. Let's don't have no more lawsuits. Let's everybody get along, pay the teams and the drivers enough money where they can stay alive. Let's try to bring new people into the sport, fresh blood. Work on getting the sponsorship back up for the teams. Get enough money out there where they can get the best drivers in the car.
Let's work on growing again, getting bigger and more popular. I personally want racing to be bigger than football. We got a long road to go, but hopefully we can get there one day again.
I know you've been watching it, I've been watching it, but IHRA's buying up a bunch of stuff and acting like that they might both want to be a competitor.
Yeah, which would be the first time NASCAR's ever had one.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing either.
Yep.
Let's be honest. Let's say, I don't know, let me figure this out while we're sitting here, but let's say, NASCAR typically races trucks Friday, Xfinity Saturday, and Cup on Sunday. What if the IHRA started a class, something like the Cars Tour or something like that, and had 15 or 20 different tracks they could race at that weren't NASCAR tracks, put them in a different venue where you can see different things there, and say they raced on Wednesday night or Thursday night, you'd still listen to it. I'd still watch it.
Yeah.
They're not taking away from NASCAR at all.
No.
I mean, you got other than just the NFL, there's Canadian Football League, I guess, is still out there. There's 2 or 3 different others.
Yeah.
That there's not just, you got college football, you got a whole lot of other stuff to watch other than just that one dynamic of the sport. So it wouldn't hurt to have something else on. Heck, I like racing enough. If they had a race on, kind of like they do at the Chili Bowl and all that,
Yeah.
4 or 5 nights a week, that's fine by me.
Yeah.
I'd have to go, I might not could watch them all, but I'd go back and watch clips of all of them, that's for sure.
Yeah,
And then you bring more drivers into the sport, there's more
opportunities for people.
Yeah, for guys. You got guys out there now that are every bit as good as any of the ones in NASCAR. They just need the right opportunity.
What's it Kenny Wallace says in a bunch of his videos? I swear I hear it at least once a week. He says, Dale Earnhardt told me there's thousands of great drivers in this nation. Not all of them can go NASCAR.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're never going to change that, but what if you had more opportunity for others to get in?
Yeah, and I mean, I think NASCAR, honestly, because we saw in the lawsuit with the SRX series, they were terrified of that series.
Yeah.
For no reason, I don't think. They were racing during the weeks, not competing against nothing NASCAR was doing. And I think NASCAR is just too scared of losing their control. But I think if you quit fighting it so hard and just let it happen, it'd probably wind up better for everybody. What is that saying? Rising tides, rise ships. How's it go? High tides, high ships, whatever.
Yeah, they just.
Whenever you're bringing in more for one thing, you're bringing in more for everybody.
Right.
And in my life, of what I do with instruments, I always go to wherever the most competition is, and it's gotten me better. And any company there is, whether it's phones or drinks or whatever, there's always competition, and it pushes each side to be better. And I don't think NASCAR really needs to be worried about getting overshadowed because they're already in control. They are NASCAR. Anybody coming in is going to have to try to get out of their shadow. They're not trying to get out of anybody else's. So I think they need to be more confident in what they have, and they seem scared that they won't be dominant anymore.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see, because it sounds like NASCAR will be racing at an IHRA track next year now, since they bought Rockingham.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the dynamics of that work, but
yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out. But
let's work together and grow the sport as a whole.
of racing, every motorsports, not just NASCAR, not just IHRA, everything. And so I guess this kind of leads us into our other changes. We're expecting here shortly in the next, I'd say no more than 2 weeks, we're going to get a new format for the championship. And first off, I really think it better come out in the next week or two because the season's getting real close, and we still don't know what we're going for yet.
Maybe they'll decide. Or I'm sure they've already decided.
I don't know if they have. I feel like
You think they're still just weighing out whatever, trying to see what the fans
I have
want?
a feeling they're having a hard time because I think if it was up to NASCAR, they wouldn't have got rid of the playoffs. But they know that the fans.
No, I agree. They probably would have left it status quo, but
Yeah, so
I don't think they could do that.
No, they couldn't. But I think they're still probably trying to figure out if they can get away with some form of a playoff, or they're just going to make people even more mad that they didn't do 36. I got a feeling NASCAR is worried about the backlash because you got to face it. No matter what they do, somebody's not going to like it.
Yeah, and we all know there's an excellent argument for 36. And, you know, when they first got away from the 36, it went through a big cycle where everybody was saying, well, I'm glad we finally did away with that. That's antiquated. That's stupid. But it's kind of made a full circle now to where I think that's where you almost got a majority of people want to see that again. But
Yeah.
I just don't think that'll be the one. That there's a real good argument for it. But I think their fear at the end of the day is that they'll have one of those seasons where somebody runs away by 200 something points with a few races left and can't be caught.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But if it is, it is. I mean, every race is still a new race. There's still a new dynamic to that weekend. I'm sure there are people that won't, but I'm gonna watch the race regardless of if somebody's won the championship with 4 to go or 2 to go or 3 to go.
There's still a race.
Yeah, there's still a race.
There's other spots that people are fighting for.
Yeah, you still got almost 40 guys out there that want to win the race that year, that are going to make good moves, that might pull a Chastain, and all kind of things that happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to watch, and so are most of the other fans, I would assume.
Yeah. I don't really think anybody's going to click off just because they already know who's going to win the championship. They probably still want to see him win it.
Yeah.
Because it's not official until the last race ends.
Right.
And then you get to watch it all, the celebration or whatever. And my one thing, even with the people running away with it, yes, of course, that's theoretically possible every year. But I believe that in today's generation, today's time, more than ever, it is way more likely that won't happen because of how close everybody is. I think back in the day, you had guys that would get a more dominant run more often, and they'd run away with it.
Yeah, and you had a large percent of drivers that were really and truly field fillers.
Yeah.
There's several back in the day that would just run 1 or 2 laps, take their check, and go home.
So I feel like in today's world, it would be so much harder for somebody to run away just because, I mean, almost every single race you're talking about, William Byron Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, sometimes Chase Elliott, he's consistent. I mean, Ryan Blaney, these guys are always up there now. I don't see one of them just taking off and running from all the other ones because they've yet to do it in this car.
Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of other guys do too. I mean, you take Logano, Chastain, there's several of them that can get points.
Yeah.
They're pretty good at scoring points. They might not be the projected winner every week.
Yeah.
But they score some pretty good points.
Yeah, so, I mean, even looking back, the regular season championship last year on points, it came down, what was it, the last race or the last 2 races for that, there was 4 guys within 20 points of each other. of course, no, that's not guaranteed, but there's proof right there that it can happen because it did. And I, it was some crazy stat for the championship that on a full season format they were super close between two drivers or something. So
Oh yeah.
I think there's a lot behind a lot of reasons that that wouldn't even be a concern or something to be super worried about. But
Yeah,
I agree. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm expecting a new. We're going back to something like the 10 race chase.
that's where I think we'll land too. What they had, I think, is out the window.
Yeah,
I just there was too many complaints about that, and I think they're afraid to do that just because they're afraid they'll anger too many of the fans. So,
yeah,
so I think what else is left other than a 10 race or a 4 race with so many drivers? It's really limited as what they can do, or they might come up with some kind of wild, bizarre thing that we just
haven't thought
didn't
of.
expect.
Yeah, yeah. But I have a. I don't know that it'll be the exact 10 race chase, but I think it will be a spin-off of it, something with some remake of that rearrangement.
I mean, they might as well let the cat out of the bag though, so we can go ahead and start talking about it.
Yeah, because when we know that stuff, we'll have to get back here in a few weeks and do our season predictions of who we think's going to win where and make the whatever format and the champion and all that stuff.
So they got to make that change, and the only other change they've really made is the horsepower change, right? Did they ever?
Yeah.
Didn't they do something with?
I heard that Ryan Priest tested it at Bristol. He said he didn't notice any different.
Yeah, but I think they did something else under the car too, didn't they?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but hopefully they do a little something with the aerodynamics there to
Yeah, but
make the cars harder to drive or more adjustable, a little harder to drive would be great.
yeah,
We'll see. They've been kind of no news is no news on their NASCAR site. There's been nothing on there.
yeah.
It's been all crickets. And they've been done with this lawsuit long enough, but maybe they just wait till the holidays is over. Let everybody get done with that. That way when they throw something out, it'll make the news.
Yeah. I think the last championship format change they did was announced in January. That's just kind of what they've done always, I guess. But yeah, we'll be waiting, and I'll say if they do come up with a 10 race chase, I'll be happy with it. It won't hurt my feelings.
I don't see how that a 10 race chase is going to be a whole lot different at the end of the day as far as the results go than a 36 race.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. I mean, it can make a difference who wins or loses, but it's got to be close.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to do good for 10 races. It's not going to be a one race throwaway. So.
Right.
So long as it's something to do with consistency across a number of races, I am satisfied.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what it takes, consistency for so many races, because we're still not just dealing with somebody running up and down the field. We do have mechanical issues that can happen, and somebody else can wreck
William
it.
Byron blow a tire.
Yeah, you're not just out there playing one team or one-on-one. It's a different thing.
Let's be different.
Be different. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess not NASCAR, but I want to know when Colleague is going to announce the winner for their show for their truck. Because again, we're in January. It's in about a month and a half, and we still ain't got no news on that front.
I know who I'd put in it, but they're not doing it. So
Who's that?
I'd beg Corey Heim to come drive it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But
that's not. I don't see that happening. No way, no how. Because I guess they had whatever their competition was to find a driver.
Yeah, and I don't remember all the names that were in that bucket on who was in that competition and the potential was to win. But I do remember one name, and I don't know him too well. But from what I've heard, I think I will be happy to see Bubba Pollard get that truck.
Oh, he's a character.
Yeah, and I think he did the show, so there is a possibility.
You know what? And if they do that, if he don't win any races, they're still heading in the right direction. We got guys coming in like Butterbean, man, he's a personality.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a few others in there. Hoskamar's a personality, and a few others. Get some personalities back in cars.
Yeah.
People that wasn't around years back just don't remember what it was like. You were waiting for that next thing to come out of somebody's mouth.
Yeah.
Or the next crazy thing they did, Drivers used to have, even at local tracks, man. Even at local tracks years ago, certain drivers were heroes around town.
Yeah.
I mean, they were bigger than the sheriff and all that. They were huge because they did something nobody else could do.
Yeah.
But all of them I remember were characters.
Yeah, I think the closest we get now is Denny.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And that's mute compared to what I'm talking, yeah.
So hopefully we can see more of that kind of thing this year too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking NASCAR is going to begin listening to the fans a little bit more now that they went through their most impactful off season in history, maybe.
Yeah.
So
I would say it probably is.
Yeah, so maybe that'll also play a role in fans getting more what fans want, but waiting on that truck announcement. And then I just want to say I'm excited they're going to have, from what I'm hearing, an all-star truck that'll rotate out every week, and I'm hearing that's going to possibly be switching between Casey Kane and Tony Stewart and names like
heard that.
So that would be cool.
Well, I'll tell you this. If they get those trucks working pretty close to being right, that'll be one that'll be up front every week.
Yeah.
Because I don't think neither one of them drivers has missed a step. They might be both getting a little bit older, but both of them's pretty talented.
Yeah, I think Tony's still on top of his game. He's over there trying to win him a top field championship, so
yeah,
he's still got it figured out. I got a feeling if he can handle 300, he can probably back it down to 160 or whatever.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, that would be good for the sport too. Casey was always a fan favorite. Maybe not Mr. Excitement and all or none of that, like Jimmy Spencer or a Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
And darn good and well if Tony Stewart's in there and something happens, you're going to know exactly what happened and what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
He never was much at mincing words. He seems to have calmed down now that he's gotten married and had a kid, but I bet if he goes out there and runs a few hundred laps in one of them trucks beating and banging, the old Tony might just show up.
Yeah, maybe. So let's just hope that that's a true rumor.
Yeah.
And only got a couple other things that I know of for this off season so far. Jesse Love and Austin Cindric went and ran some supercar races. Cindric ran what would have been their Cup Series, and Love ran their version of the Xfinity or O'Reilly Series. From what I heard, though, Austin didn't do so hot. I think he finished somewhere around last in every race.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's much to say there, but Jesse actually was very competitive from what I heard. He had a mechanical failure on the beginning of one race, but the other one, I think he was running somewhere around the top 10. And he said that stuff was way harder than he ever would have imagined, and that there was not a weak driver on that track. He said that every single guy out there was very good at what they do. So I don't remember exactly where he finished, but I think for what he was going against, it sounds like somewhere around 10th or 15th was probably pretty solid.
Yeah, I read somewhere that Shane said he didn't even want to go back over there and run because now those guys had a whole lot more recent seat time than he did.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to go over there and look bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they must be a talented lot of fellas.
Yep. But only other news that I have that I can think of is Nick Sanchez who ruffled some feathers at the end of last year, was getting some people irritated, but I think we can all say he was still a pretty talented driver. He would get solid finishes in that car, and that's not a winning car.
No,
But
he was still young. He was had some of the Husqvarna in him.
yeah, and he was a rookie. So
Yeah.
anyway, he and we both seemed to find out in about the same time period that he
Yeah.
will no longer be
Yeah, I
racing
think
next
he got a
season.
call like one night or something and expected nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? You're out.
Yep, and he is out because you know what they say, money talks.
Money talks and drivers walk.
Yeah.
We're gonna say it that way.
Yeah. So I
Hopefully,
guess
hopefully he
that's
picks something up though. I think hadn't been a great big fan yet, but didn't have a whole lot of time to see him race. But I think he had talent. I hate to see talented drivers because there's some out there that aren't.
yeah.
You know, at least somebody. Let's even go beyond the talent. Let's say somebody that's on the wheel. He was on the wheel trying.
Yeah.
I hate to see him just knocked out like that. So hopefully he'll get another opportunity soon.
Yeah. I got a feeling with his performance he'll find something somewhere. But until then, I guess we can backtrack a little bit and not be so pessimistic for we ain't even said it, but Patrick Staropoli's getting the ride. Maybe this guy will set the world on fire, but for now, I don't think he's shown anything that says that.
And I don't know how good the equipment was that he was in.
Yeah, me neither.
But I never saw anything.
No.
Mediocre
Yeah.
rides, and maybe he was in a mediocre ride. I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt he was in a winning car, but also, I mean, the guy's an eye surgeon, which, cool, very difficult job, I would imagine. Not everybody can do that, but
Yeah.
if you're an eye surgeon, you probably stick to that and not become a NASCAR driver. But I don't know, maybe he'll prove us wrong. So he'll be having a lot of expectations to meet before I think he gains respect, because I did not see anybody on the internet that was defending that team and their decision to get rid of Nick for him. So
No, but then, like you said, they're a smaller team. Maybe he brought in enough money to make them stay viable.
yeah,
Unfortunately, that's where we're at in today's sport. It's all about dollars.
yeah, I'm guessing. I will say he's probably happy that he bought out Nick Sanchez instead of 2 years ago. He could have came in and bought out Parker Kligerman. I think a lot of people would have been way more upset because I think Parker is way more popular than Nick is.
Oh yeah,
So,
he has a pretty good following.
yeah, and remember he was in that car a couple years back. He made the playoffs and
Yeah.
almost won a few races in that car, but he lost that ride too. So
Yeah, and that's unfortunately for them though. One way to keep consistency is to keep a good driver.
yeah,
And I'm not saying Parker's the best out there, but I think he is an above average driver at least.
oh yeah, I mean
I don't know why, but
he
that's their
competes
business
in every
decision.
car he's ever gotten in, from what I can tell.
Yeah, that's their business decision, not ours.
Yeah. But I think that's all we got for the last month or two, and like I said earlier, we'll probably come back in 2 weeks or a month or so, and we'll do our prediction for the season, and
Maybe by that time Connor can make it back.
yeah, we can.
We have three people instead of just going against each other.
Yeah, we can start betting on who we think's gonna win every race and who's gonna make playoffs. I'm gonna say playoffs until we know what it'll be, because that's what it's been. But
Yeah.
who makes that, who we think will be the champion, stuff like that. But
Well, I'd like to wait and know what all the changes are going to be first. And I
Yeah.
hope that they'll do it sometime this month, because to me, that's going to make a difference in what as drivers can perform and what teams can perform.
yeah, I mean, I said it last time we talked about this a while back, but if it's anything beyond a single race, maybe 4 races, I'll give him 4. But I think if it's beyond 4 races of consistency. Like if it is 10 races or whatever, I think Joey Logano's championships are done. I don't think he can do anything to win against the competition that he'd have to beat for that many races.
How old is Joey now? Do you know?
No.
Is he in his, I mean, he's got to be in his 30s, but
Yeah.
maybe mid-30s?
I'd guess around
I don't see him going as long as
38.
Denny did, yeah, so.
Well, that was a weird rumor I heard. Somebody in NASCAR, they were talking, it was a group of NASCAR people talking about him last season, and they said Joey's that guy that's going to stay around and race until he's 50. They said
I've heard that he said that's what he wants to do. Now, he's got that new look, that Mr. Clean look and all. Maybe it's new look, new man.
And they say he has no interest in anything else. That's all he cares to do. So, I mean, maybe he will stay around, but the last, 3-4 years, he's not been a bad driver, but he's not been one that we're talking about every week.
He's not fast like Blaney every week.
Yeah, he comes in the season, runs okay, gets him 1 or 2 wins, and then
somewhere between Cindric and Blaney, I guess.
Yeah, I'd kind of put him in the same category as Chase Elliott right now. They're there, and they win a race or 2 in the season, but you don't hear much else from them.
But what could happen there also is if the right changes are in the car, maybe it'll suit those drivers better too. That's why I say I'd like to know what changes are being made.
Yeah.
Sometimes that makes the difference on what a driver can and can't do in a car. Their driving tendencies, work better with a certain way that a car acts or reacts to what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So we will wait to hear what the new changes will be, and then we will come back with our predictions, and y'all be ready to throw y'all out there too, and we will see you then. Bye.
See you in a couple